Hi Vieler, today I want to...
But as always, our biggest advantage continues to be the ideas you bring to the table. So please, continue sharing them with us.
Okay, Leo, so today I will show you what I want to see for Tier 2 in 2027. I will talk about many subjects, stakes, structure, qualification, and you avoid the geographical subject because I want to not make it too long and this alone could be a 10-minute video. First, what kind of organization I want to see in Tier 2? Of course, I want classical Tier 2 teams that are here on merit and can be relegated, but not only. I want three kind of team in Tier 2. I want every partner team to have an academic team in Tier 2. I genuinely believe that if Faria says that change will happen in 2027, this is the exact reason. With the current contract, they can't force Tier 1 team to have an academic team. But in 2027, the partner contract will be renewed, and Riot can force them. Forcing Tier 1 team to have an academic team is really important for 2 or even 3 reasons. First, if you have the chance to be a partner team, then you should also participate to the growth of the younger talent. You can't only poach the talent of smaller org. Second, partner structure are popular. They wouldn't be selected if they would not be popular. So, structure like KC and Sentinels will bring viewers to Tier 2. Some people will be really curious about seeing the future of their structure. Third, we currently have a huge problem in Tier 2. If you are a Tier 2 team and you want to qualify to Tier 1, you have to take the best player. And sometimes the best player is a player under 18, so you hire him, you qualify, and you have to replace him. If academic team pick player under 18, then the problem is solved. You no longer need to hire player under 18 to qualify because those young talents are in a team that will not compete for Ascension spot. And if for some weird reason, like for example nepotism, academic team buy too much player over 18, then maybe we should create a rule that forbid to sign a player above 18 to be sure those teams stop recycle old player. So we force partner team to focus only on newer generation. We need players that can't qualify to Tier 1 to belong to team that can't qualify to Tier 1. Okay, so we have the merit team, we have the academic team, but I also want the creation of another status that will be given to some specific Tier 2 structure to make sure they won't be relegated and they could qualify to Ascension. Thailand have already a Tier 1 team and a Tier 2 team. They will keep this spot even if they become bad. While in another end, Vietnam currently have neither any Tier 1 or Tier 2 team, so this is not really fair, and in the long term this will kill the Vietnamese scene. So we need a Vietnamese structure that will have a secured place in Southeast Asia, and in exchange they will be forced to have at least 3 Vietnamese players. This rule would exist to preserve smaller scene, help them to grow, and be sure everyone has their chance. Of course, this is not specific to Vietnam, and other countries that doesn't have a Tier 1 team, like Italy, could have a structure that benefit this status. If we don't, biggest subregion like Thailand will trust every place in the Tier 2 and the smaller market will never develop. It's kinda the nightclub paradox, where you can't enter if you are new, but if you can't enter, you will always stay new. So, to conclude that part, I want team that qualify to Tier 2 with merit. I want academic team with mostly young players, so the Tier 1 team participate to youth development and also making sure eligible team for Ascension have players that will be over 18 years old. And I want smaller market to be represented with teams that couldn't be relegated. Second part, what kind of stakes I want in Tier 2. We already have Ascension and we need to keep Ascension to push structure to invest into Tier 2. But I think this is not enough. I think Tier 2 teams should have a chance to go into international events if they are good enough. And I'm not the one that had this idea. This is an idea that is considered by Riot, and I've made a full video about how this could work. So, to sum up, this is really important to give a chance to Tier 2 team to participate into international events for 4 reasons. First, if the best team in the world is in Tier 2, then I want to see them having a chance to participate into Masters or Champions. And I don't want to wait 1 year, especially since a lot of rosters could explode in 1 year. Second, people would watch more Tier 2 games if the potential winner of Champions have a chance to be in that league. Third, if you say to Structure, yeah, you are not in Tier 1, but in Tier 2, you still have a chance to win international event, then Tier 2 become way more interesting to invest in, and it will bring way more structure in Tier 2. And finally, fourth, and this is the most important one, when a team win Ascension, there are a huge chance that those players get poached by bigger org and the roster explode. If the best Tier 2 team manage to qualify to an international event, then that means this team is top 4 in the region. And why would you leave a team that is good enough to go to international event to join a team that didn't? So this would lower the risk of having a team like Apex that just disband right after winning Ascension. But now I know you're gonna ask me, but how it will be possible to change the format to give a path to international event for Tier 2 teams? And it's easy as hell, and it would even solve important issues. But because doing an offline event is expensive, I will give you a format that doesn't add any offline event. First, I really think the 4 winners of 2026 Split 3 should be invited to kick off 2027. We would have now 16 teams, and this would solve the problem we have with the 12 team bracket I've explained in my past videos. This is truly the perfect solution and only add 8 series. Sure, it's a little bit weird to take the risk to have a Tier 2 team that win a Masters, but not being able to participate into Split 1. But they still will be able to qualify for the Masters that come after Split 1. And I admit this part is the trickiest way to do it. I think the best way to qualify Tier 2 team to participate to the second Master of the Year is just to allow the 4 winners of Tier 2 to participate into playoff or in a LCQ. It's not perfect, but that does work. And finally, for Champions, it's the most easiest thing to do. For the last place of Champions, the winner of Ascension will play a single BO5 against the Tier 1 team that is Seed 4. It's only adding 1 series, so it's easy. But maybe we should add one exception if the Ascension winner was a Tier 1 team during the year that didn't manage to qualify to Champions. It will be a little bit weird to give them a chance to qualify to Champions that the other partner team in Tier 1 doesn't have. In that scenario, maybe it will be better to just pick the best team in Ascension among the teams that was in Tier 2 all the year. An alternative to that system is to copy the Split 1 playoff format and consider the winner of Ascension are the 2 teams that go the furthest in this event. So, to conclude that part, giving an international part to Tier 2 team is really important for the Tier 2 scene, and it will be really easy to do it if we don't have more than 4 Tier 2 leagues. Third part, grassroots. How I want team to qualify into Tier 2. Of course, I want to keep Premier. Premier is good, but it needs some change. Once you reach 6 wins, you are already qualified in playoff, and in higher league, once you secure a specific spot, you are only fighting for seeding, which is not sane. It's so weird that a team winning 40 games in a row will be eliminated after 1 lose in playoff by a team in 6-8. Premier should have more threshold. For example, 6 wins, you are already in playoff quarterfinal, nothing change. 8 wins, you have a bye, you are already in semi-final. 10 wins, well play, you are already in final. 12 wins, well, you are qualified for the higher league, so congrats. And it's okay if there are a lot of teams that is promoted in Premier. This isn't a problem. In fact, it's only a problem in Elite. But having a lot of teams in Tier 2 promotion, is that so much a problem? In the past, some regions have a qualifier with like 16 teams and didn't cause many issues. And I did the math in Korea and in Japan, which are the most populated Premier region and the region with the most team in invites, and in both cases, we would have only 5 teams qualified for promotion, which is definitely not a lot. Better do a double loser bracket with more teams and prepare a format for every number of teams. Or just save the unqualified team to have a perfect number. Having a gap of 2 wins push every team to play every week, even if they have reached a threshold. if they win the next 2 games, they will reach another one anyway. And if you win everything in regular season, you shouldn't risk everything on one game. But I don't think Premier should be the only way to qualify to Tier 2. No! Let's look at European North. While we were killing South-East Asian national leagues that were market with more than 100 million people in most of cases, North Europe Tier 2 League just created national league with market of 5 million people. They created Great Britain and Sweden League, but also Denmark, Norway, Ireland and Finland National League with a population of roughly 5 million people each. And I'm not even sure it was broadcasted or have any cash prize. Seriously, this is so small I can't even count it as a tier 3. That's basically a tier 4 at this point. So, okay, having one tier 2 league in Southeast Asian that regroups the best team was good on the paper, but it absolutely should not be an excuse to kill the Southeast Asian National League as a broadcasted tier 3, even if it's fully amateur. And to be fair, I even think we should make a tier 3 and even a tier 4 in almost every tier 2 region. Yeah, Myanmar and Cambodia are too small to be at broadcasted tier 3, okay, but we can make them a tier 4. Creating more tier 3 would be absolutely amazing for taking care of the grassroots. But this is not the only argument in favor of the creation of tier 3 and tier 4 system, especially in Europe. Because contrary to Southeast Asia, where majority of teams are composed of only one language, if you take a region like Europe, almost all of our teams are mixed, and this is bad for the sense of belonging. But if tomorrow we say to player, hey, you can participate to an official tier 3 tournament that qualify you to tier 2 if you play with 2 other players from your market. This will incentivize players to create a team that represents this specific market. And when they got promoted, the viewers that come from the same market than this team will easily create bonds and will more likely care and support them. So, to conclude, to me, here should be the tier system. We should have a strong tier 1 with, of course, 2 Ascension teams. Under, we should have 4 tier 2 leagues per tier 1 that correspond to a specific scrim pool. Then, under almost every tier 2, we should have, of course, Premier, but also a tier 3 that will be totally amateur, cost nothing to Riot, but probably be broadcasted. After all, in Southeast Asia, sometimes Thai or Indo League managed to beat NA in terms of viewer. So yeah, they may lose their best team into tier 2, but that would still probably bring a lot of viewer. And I'm pretty sure with that kind of system, structures that left Valorant may come back. And finally, under this tier 3, we should even have a tier 4 that is, of course, not broadcasted and fully amateur. This will be, in most of the case, National League, but for the smaller market with at least 5 million people. Some place would really need it. Scandinavian nation, Cambodia, Myanmar, New Zealand, Portugal, Mongolia, Pakistan, and so on, you got the idea. The goal is to cover every place in the world with Valorant eSport after all. Final part is all of my proposition an evil plan to make Riot bankrupt? And if you take time to list all of my propositions, almost none of them will cost a lot. And in fact, Riot might even lose less money. If you want low-cost idea, then all of these are low-cost idea. Force tier 1 organization to invest into tier 2 doesn't cost anything to Riot and helps them to know who is seriously accepting to invest into the game. And giving a special status to a team representing a non-represented language into tier 2 would basically cost 0 and even attract investor. Invite the 4 best tier 2 teams to kick off and split 1 is money that will be spent by either Riot or the structure, but it will not win anyone. Creating tier 3 and tier 4 league wouldn't require any cash price, and there are already many casters that would be happy to cover their own tier 3, so it may cost nothing. And finally, reducing the number of tier 2 league and team will make the tier 2 scene way less expensive. Okay, so This video was probably one of the most important on this channel because it's a hot topic and it resumes a lot of my ideas about an important subject, and even more because Faria himself asked for ideas. So please, if you did like it, share it to your friends, or like, or subscribe, or anything that can increase the visibility of this video. It will be really appreciated. In the future, I plan to talk about what boundaries we should do for tier 2, tier 3 and even tier 4, but also more video based on in-game composition. We're gonna analyze map per map the result of every agent based on the data of tier 1 and tier 2, exactly as I did in 2024. Anyway, thanks for listening to me, and as always, bye!